Marion County's 2014 Teacher of the Year is David Steffi, Osceola Middle School.
And with that, we have a brand new Teacher of the Year in Marion County. Hello and welcome to the Classroom Connection, the show that takes you inside Marion County Public Schools. I'm Kevin Christian, and today's show is totally focused on teachers, including our 5 Golden Apple teachers and our Rookie Teacher of the Year. We have about 2,800 teachers in our district, including those in their first year of teaching and those with 40-plus years of experience. David Steffi has 18 years of experience and currently helps students at Osceola Middle School improve their reading skills. Here's a better look at our brand new Teacher of the Year.
You know, there are 50, 53 or 55 of us here tonight, but you know, as well as I know, we're not really the best. We're a part of the best. And I'm honored, and I thank you, but I know that I'm not the best teacher. I stand with 2,800 other people in this county who give everything they have for our kids. They're the Teachers of the Year.
I struggle with it because I know for a fact that I am a good teacher, but I also know that there are much better teachers probably in the district. I think it's probably based on passion somewhat, because if I see an issue and I see a problem, if I see something that I want done, I will tend to not stop until I get it done. I've done this in the past with Tools for Teaching. I also have started here at Osceola just a renaissance as far as wanting to get this school looking good for its soon-to-be 100th year birthday. And in doing all of that, I think that the children are my main focus. Cleaning up a school, you think, how in the world does that help children? Well, it does. And the kids that come and help me with my projects are my students in my classroom, and they don't necessarily get asked to do a lot of things because being a reading student, they unfortunately are taken out of their electives. They don't get PE, music, and art. And so I'm trying to find ways to get them involved in their school so they feel important.
David Steffi's push to get his students involved in their school is because it's his school and always has been.
I went to school at Osceola. This means a lot to me. I was a student in this classroom. I learned how to sew in this classroom. But this is my home, and I never thought that I would ever come back to Osceola and teach, so when I had the opportunity to do that, it feels right to give back to the school that gave to me in the 1970s, to turn around and not only teach the children, but to also make them as proud of this school as I am.
One way he does that is by making the students feel comfortable.
When I got here, the walls were kind of bleeding with mold, and it just wasn't a very welcoming place. I painted it, and then I asked my administration if I could paint it. And I put up curtains, and I try and keep it because I want them to walk in. Somebody one time said it feels like a coffee shop in here. I said I'll take that, because what I see today is people wanting to be in coffee shops, and they want to hang out there, and it's a place where they can be. I want my students to want to be here. I don't want them to think of this as a place where, oh, I got to go to Mr. Steffi's class. I want them to want to be in my class. I think it helps. Little things.
Speaking of little things, there are several hundred of them around the class. Pez dispensers.
This is a student-generated collection, and a lot of them now have the names written on the back of them of the student that gave them to me and the year that they gave them to me. So it's a fun thing. Is it educational? In a way that books aren't, in a way that maybe videos and computers aren't. It is educational because it shows that there have been kids here before them. They added to this classroom, and it shows that there's pride too.
Steffi has a lot of pride about another of his projects.
Tools for Teaching has been a wonderful thing. I remember when I lived in Orlando teaching how important it was for me in an inner city school to receive free supplies. And it meant so much to me. I went to work for them as a volunteer because I wanted to pay them back. When I came home to Marion County, I felt like we should, and if we did, it would make a difference. And 5 years later, I think it's proving itself on a weekly basis. And it does feel good. I don't talk about it a lot, but it feels really good to know that teachers all around the county are benefiting from what we do at Tools for Teaching.
The supply store has taken off, the campus looks much better, He has a Golden Apple and County Teacher of the Year title. But why stop there?
It's wonderful to be acknowledged at the level that I am, and I am certainly satisfied with that. It allows me to continue to do what I do, whatever the next project is. There's more. There's more coming. I just haven't figured out exactly what it is or how I'm going to do it. But my brain's not stopped. It continues just running and figuring what do we need next? What do we need to do next? So.
David came to Marion County after teaching several years in Orlando, and he joins us now to talk about the teaching profession. So first of all, David, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What was your reaction when the announcement was made?
It's fair to say I was pleasantly surprised. I had a 1 in 5 chance, I guess, but at that, I put myself at that 20%, I think.
David, you were so gracious to give credit to other people in your acceptance speech. How do you think that philosophy has impacted your teaching?
Oh, well, I wish I could say that what I did was, or what I do every day is all about me and teaching in the classroom, but honestly, there's so many people behind the scenes every day that take care of business for me so I can teach in the classroom. And it goes further than the teachers. It's the ladies in the front office. It's the custodians who keep my room clean. It is literally everyone. I'm a piece of the machine. I happen to be closer to the front lines than some, but there's not one of those people that are standing beside me or behind me that aren't important.
Now this is a pretty complicated process. You have to do a portfolio, then an interview, then a classroom observation. You didn't even want to do anything in the beginning. You didn't even want to be part of this.
No.
Why not?
You know, I do what I do. I try and do the best that I can. Mm-hmm. And I figure there's always someone else out there that might want or need this. Having said that, I completely respect the process having been through it. It has made me and is making me a better person. And so I don't want to say everyone should try this. Maybe there's some people out there like me that didn't want to. It took me several years of somebody saying, why don't you accept, and I'm glad I did. Yeah.
What do you want your students to know about this whole process? To know that you are not just their teacher, but the Teacher of the Year for all of Marion County?
Well, you know, as we're studying, for instance, we're studying a story right now about a woman who has a challenge in front of her. She has decided to go on this adventure, and sometimes she's not even sure why she's on the adventure, but she knows that, and in fact, I think the words that she used was, sometimes you pick the adventure and sometimes the adventure picks you. And I thought that was very well said when the kids were reading it today in class. I thought that there's truth to that. Sometimes it's what I choose to do, and sometimes it's what is chosen for me to do. And I accept that.
Now, we have a lot of Golden Apple teachers who have received their apples and gone on to jobs elsewhere, be it administration or even in other districts or other areas. You're a Golden Apple teacher, you're a Teacher of the Year. What are your plans?
To be a teacher next year. But no, I enjoyed teaching. I got into education because I always thought that what I wanted to do was I wanted to be in front of children teaching. I give respect to those who choose to do other things, and I'm not saying that that's not something someday that I would do, but I really enjoy teaching and I enjoy being in the classroom. And I see myself being there until I can't do it. I feel like that's where I should be.
What do you use, or how do you motivate your students? Because many of your students are struggling readers.
Yeah, they are. The philosophy is fairly simple. Provide them a place where they feel comfortable. Explain to them and show them through just show them who I am. Show them that I'm a normal person who makes mistakes. I want them to see me as a imperfect human. I use that as my benefit. Sometimes when I don't know the words, we'll look them up to see what they mean. I want them to see me as just another person. And then I want them to trust me, because once I get them to trust me, I can then get them to do a lot of different things, including I can get them to sit down and read things that they normally wouldn't. I want to make it interesting. I want to make it, and you know, I know as teachers we say this, but reading should be fun. There are times when it's not. There's times when you have to read things that you wouldn't necessarily read on your own, but reading should be fun. Some of my kids haven't gotten to the fun point yet. They don't realize that. So part of the goal, and it's the easier part, it's the motivating part, is to let them understand that you can enjoy reading. And there's nothing more beneficial to me, rewarding to me, than to see my students, and I can almost see the day, the week when it happened, when they got clicked, they turned on to reading. That's exciting. That's very exciting.
That makes it all worthwhile.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've heard many of your predecessors in the same seat say the exact same thing. Well, I have one more question for you. What is up with all those Pez dispensers in your classroom? Hundreds of them.
400 plus, they say. My first year teaching, I was teaching third grade. 2 little girls brought them to me at the end of the year. They were used. They ate the candy out of them, then they gave them to me. This is your present. Thank you very much. I set them on my desk. They got knocked over. 2 went into 4, 4 into 6. 18 years later, 400 plus. It's a student-generated exhibit. I should have done this in the beginning. I do this now with all of them that are given to me. I have them write their names on the back and the year they gave them to me. I can't necessarily look up there and remember the child that gave me that one, but when I look up there, I see hundreds of examples of children that came through my class. And I think that, well, I'll tell you, I know this. I choose to allow children, when they become adults, 18, to find me on Facebook. If they choose to find me,
Right.
One of the first questions they always ask me is, Mr. Steffi,
Still have
do
the
you
Pez
still have that
dispensers?"
crazy
Yeah.
Pez dispenser collection? I say, oh my goodness, you don't know. It's much more. So it's one of those things. And again, it brings into the classroom just a sense of normalcy, or maybe
Okay.
abnormalcy.
Well, it's a personal marker.
It is.
Too.
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations again to you, David.
Thank you very much.
I know you don't take the decision lightly, but you take it seriously.
I
and,
take
and
it very
humbly.
seriously. Yes.
And that's what matters.
And that's
so
okay.
We're proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Well, in addition to David Steffi, 4 other teachers also received Golden Apples and shared their teaching philosophies at the Golden Apple Gala. Here are those 4 teachers in alphabetical order by school, including Grace Daly, Debbie McNall, Robin Coper, and Kim Merritt.
A former professional basketball player and PE coach, Grace Daly brought a lot of those concepts to the kindergarten classroom.
The biggest thing I brought with me was structure and discipline, because without those 2 things, there's no learning and there's no fun. So immediately, when I walk into this door, I have soldiers in training, absolutely. We walk on the line, one behind the other. We know when it's time to speak, we know when it's time to listen. And with that environment, great things can happen. Just like in a game, if there's structure and there's discipline, that's when there's fun, that's when championships are won.
On the surface, you'd be hard-pressed to find any structure or discipline on a typical day in her classroom.
In my classroom, it is different, there's no doubt about that. I have what we call a learning party every single day. I spend hours and hours planning to make sure that every experience that my children have in here, my students, is unique and memorable. So all throughout the day, the kids are up, they're moving, they're having fun, and just enjoying the entire learning process.
Daly has a bit of a golden rule in her teaching methods. Teach unto others as you would have taught unto you.
I call what my class is a kinetic kindergarten class. Everything is geared around motion and movement. I'm a kinetic learner myself, so it's one thing to see something on paper, but it's a completely different thing when you get to put that thing into motion. So for my kindergartners, I teach the same way I learn. And I learn by doing. And I think as humans, that's the best way for us to learn, is by actually becoming active participants in the process. Because when you become an active part, like a physically active part of the learning process, things stick, they stay in your mind. So it's also a lot of fun. And when you get moving, that stimulates your brain. So when it is time to sit down, because we do have times when we have to read stories and relax, you'll be much more relaxed and your brain will be much more in tune to learn.
Speaking of tunes, Daly uses a lot of them in her class.
Music is involved, I would say 50% of the day, if not more, because we start our day with music and then we relax for a little bit, we do our spelling routine, and then 20 minutes later, we're back to music again. And the music is, I'm incorporating all of the different academic areas that we're supposed to cover. So when it's time to do spelling, there are songs for us to learn about spelling. When it's time for us to do reading, we have songs to get us excited about reading. When it's time to do math, we have songs to teach us how to add and subtract and do everything that we need to learn.
Going through the Golden Apple selection process, particularly the classroom observations, has made Daly and her students even better.
What it did was really help me be accountable for every minute of my day. We had to submit our schedule in advance, and I thought I was doing a great job of staying on schedule and doing everything as planned. When the observation committee was coming during that month of January, I became the most awesome teacher that I've ever been. And that's carried on even till today, and that will carry on the rest of my career. So I love the fact that they were gonna come unannounced and that I had to be doing exactly what was on the paper. So it's made me a better teacher. It's made my students, obviously, better students. This has been a fabulous process.
Throughout the ages, teachers, especially math teachers, have probably heard one question more than any other. When am I ever going to use this?
You expect to work and get paid? Of course you're going to use it. You use math without even realizing it. I always get that. When am I going to use this? You just wait. You will use math on a daily basis. Probably the hardest part of the job is at the beginning of the year, when you have students that aren't favoring math at all. They can't do it, I don't like it. Once they realize their potential, which I help them realize that, they learn to love it. But not only that, I think that they gain a respect for the teacher, and no matter if the lesson is boring or exciting or fun, they still want to do well, not only for themselves, but for me.
Horizon Academy's Debbie McNall teaches algebra, but it sometimes looks more like a PE class, with students up and moving, rarely in their seats. Sometimes it's the alphabet game, with review questions scattered around the room, the answers leading to letters, the letters to a scrambled word.
If you have C, you would be subtracting those numbers. It's a way for them to get out of their seats and review, to get up and around and help each other, rather than just sitting at their desks and, yes, I got this, yes, I got that one. That's kind of boring. So you want to make it fun, and you want the students to want to come to math class. And so that's what I'm trying to do with all of these activities. It doesn't necessarily have to be fun every day, but you do want them to be engaged and interested.
Sometimes it's students, not the teacher, helping other students.
Algebra is tough, and when you're tapped on the shoulder and told you have the right answer, I'd like you to get up and help other students, check them, help them, whatever they need, it makes them feel good about themselves. And so my job is easy. Let me check, a few of them, get them up, they're checking each other. It's for confidence for them, make them feel like big shots, but it's time factor too. I can get in more problems that way.
On the day of the surprise visit, among the people popping in to congratulate McNall was her next-door teaching neighbor, Judith Dominguez, a Golden Apple winner last year. That's now 2 Golden Apples in 2 years for this 4-teacher team.
It's phenomenal. You wouldn't think that it would happen to the same school 2 years in a row, nevertheless the same team 2 years in a row. It's remarkable. It's awesome.
So is pressure on across the hall for next year now?
We haven't said anything yet, but it's coming. So they just need to be prepared.
Harry Potter, Twilight, The Hunger Games. It seems every time you turn around, another young adult novel is being made into a movie. It creates a twist on the age-old question. Which comes first, watching the movie or reading the book?
I think it can go both ways. I know with Hunger Games, when I started doing the Hunger Games unit, the movie wasn't out yet. And so we just kept, we were counting down the days until the movie, and we wanted to make sure that we had the book complete. I think it just brings so much more excitement to it, knowing that we already know this story. We know. Now, what will the movie be like? Will it, is it going to measure up to what we want it to be? Are the characters going to look like the characters that we envisioned while we were reading?
It's a great time for a language arts teacher like Lake Weir Middle's Robin Coper. Getting a student interested in reading is as easy as a quick trip to Blockbuster.
What's happening now with movies or with current novels becoming movies, I think it's making reading more cool now, you know? I think it's making it where maybe at one point, you know, reading wasn't so cool. It is now because they are becoming such top hits with movies.
A renewed interest in reading is just fine with her.
I love language arts. That was my absolute favorite subject. And what I love about it even more now that I'm teaching it is I've learned that with language arts, you can bring in just about any subject you want. You could make it a health lesson. You could make it a geography lesson. As long as you're incorporating your reading and your writing and your speaking and listening, you can just be as creative as you want to be. And I love that about language arts.
After starting out as a middle school teacher, she spent 5 years at the elementary level.
I always felt a calling to come back to middle school. You know, I felt that was where I belonged, and this is where I'm supposed to be. I just love, you know, the kids, they just, you know, they're not children, yet they're not adults. They're kind of stuck in between. And I guess I just kind of like that. They're humorous and they're funny and they're opinionated. And I just love that grade. I love that grade level.
Having the superintendent tell her she had won a golden apple was nice, but what a student recently told her meant even more.
The best part about teaching is just making a difference. Hearing a student tell me that, you know, the reason I came to school today was I didn't want to miss your class. This is a child that had a lot of absence. She's absent quite a bit. And she said to me, Mrs. Coper, you know, I almost didn't come to school today, but I came because I didn't want to miss your class. And at that point, you know you're making a difference.
Kim Merritt has taught for 22 years at several different grade levels in several different school districts, but she loves what and where she is now, a kindergarten teacher at Shady Hill.
I love the aha moments. I love when they first start reading and all the first that they do in kindergarten. That's real exciting to me. I love being there, and their first, you know, some of them their first time in school and the excitement of all that, and just all the firsts are just great in kindergarten.
Well, maybe not all the firsts. The first time being away from home and mom and dad isn't always a walk in the park.
They're crying at the door when they first come in. That is difficult, and usually I tell the parents, just leave them with me, I'll take care of them. And usually in a few hours or so they get okay. And there's some that come in crying every day for the first 2-3 weeks of school, and that is, but all the positives far outweigh the negatives in kindergarten.
Good job. Awesome.
Over her years as a teacher, Merritt has seen a major change in kindergarten. It's no longer a preparatory grade, it's an academic one.
Now kindergartners, they leave here reading, and a lot of them read very well. And I have such a broad range in here right now, from kids who are just starting to read to kids who are reading 2nd grade, and one in here that probably reads a 3rd grade level. And they're expecting them. They need to be reading when they get into 1st grade, or they're, you know, it seems like they're behind nowadays and they come to school knowing their letters, a lot of them knowing their letters and sounds, and it's important that they do. And you know, I think preschools that they have now are doing that now, so when they come, they know so much more.
One thing that hasn't changed about kindergartners is their attention span.
We have to change about every 15 to 20 minutes because kindergarten children, you know, their attention span is short. So we'll do a song throughout the day just to get up and move, some kind of exercise or something, just to get them refocused and get their bodies moving, and it just helps them, you know, get back on task and what they're doing.
The Golden Apple process made her realize all she's done in her teaching career, but it wasn't without a challenge.
I think it forces you to, you know, dig down and look at what all you've done over the past, and you don't really think about it on a day-to-day basis. And then when you sit down, you're kind of like, wow, you know, I have accomplished quite a bit in the last few years. And you know, I think, you know, I had to step out of my comfort zone to write that paper because I teach kindergarten. It's pretty basic what I teach in here, and I haven't written a paper like that in years.
And we hop, hop, hop away. Splash!
Rookie Teachers of the Year have no more than 3 years of teaching experience. Our rookie teacher this year comes from Legacy Elementary, Marion County's newest school. We'd like you to meet Sarah Lynn, our 2014 Rookie Teacher of the Year.
Why are you shaking me off? Huh?
I want to bring the heaters to announce my presence with authority. To announce your what? Announce my presence with authority.
Like Newt LaLoosh and Bull Durham, Legacy Elementary's Sarah Lynn announced her presence with authority, only she didn't use her fastball. Rather, she used her love of baseball to connect with her students and earn Rookie Teacher of the Year honors.
It kind of gave me a link to a lot of my students. I've always taught 4th grade, and 4th grade boys love baseball. So it gave me an attachment to a lot of my boys to be able to talk to about them, and it gave me a joint with a lot of my softball girls that played softball, and it really ties to the classroom about hitting home runs and doing your best, and sometimes we do strike out, and I relate that to my students too, and I let them know that it's okay if you fail, it's okay if you hit a foul, but we're going to try it again, and we're eventually going to get you to that home run point.
All teachers try to build relationships with their students, but Lynn takes a different baseball-related approach.
I don't want to be considered the coach. I want to be considered a teammate. We're all on the same team. We've got the same goal in mind. I'm a little bit older of a teammate, and I'm kind of more of a veteran, so I've got to teach them the strings. But I want them to see that every day we've got a goal, we've got to get it done.
Her first day in the classroom, Lynn learned that just like ball players need the occasional break during a 162-game baseball season, students and even teachers can't go full bore all day, every day for an entire 180-day school year.
I started off with these huge lesson plans and these dynamic lessons that were hands-on and engaged and interactive for like every 5 minutes of the day. Well, my first day teaching, I was exhausted, and I thought, oh my gosh, it cannot be like this every day. Even the students are tired. They don't want to come back to that every day and know that it's a circus ring every day, all day. So I had to learn to fine-tune it. Just like a pitcher doesn't throw his best pitch every time, Lynn tries to pick and choose when to bring the heat. There's some days where I'm teaching a skill that I know they get, so I don't need to, put on this great show to try and engage them and have them understand it when they already get it. They're going to be bored because they get it. So I have to save my wow lessons for the lessons I need to pull them in and engage them a little bit more. Lynn uses baseball not only as a common ground with her students, but also as a way to teach them. My centers usually have that sort of theme around math, like their multiplication tables. I've broken them up into like first base, second base, third base, and then home. They're making a home run, and they can track their progress as they've accomplished a certain task. In their binders, they've got a little baseball field that they can track as they've done it. So it's kind of a visual correlation for them as well. She even uses famous baseball quotes as writing prompts, although Yogi Berra can be a bit confusing to 4th graders. We do a lot of quote writing, and I'll read them a quote and have them write about it, and it ain't over till it's over. I gave them that one and had them write about it. They were all like, what does this mean? I said, take it, write about it what you want. They had no clue how to respond.
Typically, our employee spotlight shines on someone who loves their job. This month is no different, except our person is not a school district employee. Instead, he's an executive with Regions Bank who serves as chairman of the board for the Public Education Foundation. He is a hero in many respects and takes every opportunity to recognize our hardworking teachers. This is why John Cervalera loves his foundation job.
I love being part of the foundation because I really like connecting the classroom and the community together. I think it's important that people know that we're here to support the roles of the classroom and the behind-the-scenes folks that are within the school system. You go and read those manuscripts and the application, and then you're going, okay, wow, I'm just picturing myself every day this person does something different. And then you actually go and meet them in the interview, and you get to meet that person behind the write-up. And we kind of, as a panel, discuss the strengths of those folks and how they're making a difference in our community and our students. And then the day of the actual observation, seeing how they do things in the classrooms and just taking the information. I remember back in the day when I was in school, the information was just the book. And these teachers are taking that book and making it alive and making it really stick. And then the final day is the day of surprising those folks. All right, here we go. Hello, hello, hello. This is congratulations. Woohoo! On behalf of the foundation, I want to thank you for everything. Congratulations. It's just a great day. It's all because a lot of people put a lot of time and effort into the actual picking the right candidates, and it takes a long process to do that. And then when you get to that day and you find out who's on that list, and you're like, wow, I want to get to that school and meet that teacher and meet that school. It's just a really great day, and it just means so much to me to give back to those teachers that are in the trenches every day.
Superintendent George Tomyn travels the district frequently to share his thoughts and opinions on current issues. He joins us now for this month's Superintendent Spotlight.
The March edition of Classroom Connection has been all about the Golden Apple Teacher Program. This wonderful program, sponsored by the Public Education Foundation, recognizes our Teacher of the Year in Marion County and also references the other Golden Apple teachers that are selected. Those folks represent the wonderful teachers that we have addressing all the needs of all of our students here in Marion County. Today, this is actually in February, and I'm filming this segment at Howard Middle School. Howard Middle School has been blessed to have 2 Teachers of the Year in a row, and as a result, the school gets to host the actual trophy that I'm standing next to that has all the great names of all these great teachers. By the time you see this program, the trophy will have been moved to the school for the new Golden Apple Teacher. And again, a great thanks and a hats off to the Public Education Foundation for celebrating and helping us celebrate this fantastic program.
And that wraps up today's show. Again, congratulations to our Golden Apple recipients and our Teacher of the Year, David Steffi from Osceola Middle School. Parents, remember, be there for your child every day. Thanks for joining us.